It's my pleasure to welcome to KUVO Mr. Christian McBride. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great to be back.
Thank you so much for being here. The new album with Edgar, you guys go back. It's But Who's Gonna Play the Melody, which I think is a great title because you're both renowned bass players. It comes out March 22nd. Talk to me about that collaboration and working on that album with him.
As you know, Edgar is one of the greatest virtuosos of the bass, and for that matter, any instrument this world has ever known. I first became aware of Edgar through our mutual mentor, the late, great Ray Brown. When I first got to know Ray Brown in the very early 90s, Ray had a video production studio in Hollywood, and one of my first times, in fact, it might have been the first time I hung out with Ray in L.A., he took me to a studio and he showed me a couple of videos that he had been working on. And he said, you know Victor Wooten? I said, absolutely. He says, do you know Edgar Meyer? I said, no, I don't know Edgar. He says, well, I'm about to turn you on to this guy. So he had done a concert somewhere, I believe in Kentucky, with Victor and Edgar, a three-bass thing. And from that point on, I became a huge Edgar Meyer loyalist. Mm-hmm. But we still didn't actually meet until maybe 9 years later. So this time I'm hanging out with Ray. This was 1991. I didn't meet Edgar until 2000 in Nashville, or just outside of Nashville where he lives, at Victor Wooten's bass camp. And so we felt like we knew each other very well already. And so as time progresses, we realized that we had a mutual regional commitment in Aspen every summer. Me with Jazz Aspen, him with the Aspen Music Festival. So Jazz Aspen and the Aspen Music Festival said, hey, you guys should do something together. That's like someone saying to me, you want to play a one-on-one basketball game with Michael Jordan?
Right.
Like, sure, I would love to do that, you know. And so we played this concert in Aspen in 2007. And just slowly over the years, we've done a few more concerts here and there. We actually wound up doing a European tour about 10 years ago. And it's led to this recording, finally.
Finally.
Yeah. We played here in Denver, I don't know, 2016 maybe? At the, you know, where the symphony plays.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's great to finally have this record done.
And you guys kind of you're so great at moving into different genres. You're very genre fluid, I should say. How did you guys decide which kind of particular songs you wanted to delve into for this recording?
Well, it's taken some time for it to evolve because Edgar's main forte has been bluegrass and classical, and mine has been jazz and R&B with a little bit of classical, and him a little bit of jazz. So we tried to find some material that was kind of neutral, you know, sort of, you know, things that didn't really fit any of those so-called categories. But the one thing that really binds us is that we both love blues. Mm-hmm. And so anything that has a blues element in it, we're with that. So it's a pretty large variety of stuff.
It's a beautiful record. We just added this week. It officially comes out March 22nd on Mack Avenue, but we've been playing a few tracks from it in advance of that release date. You're, like I said earlier, you're very well known for your ability to explore a wide variety of musical genres. What inspires you to dive into things outside of just the jazz spectrum? You know, what is it? Music? Is it a particular artist that kind of sends you down? Like, talk to me about at what point does that light bulb says, you know what, I want to explore this further?
I don't know if the answer to that is not more than a practical answer. I mean, growing up in a city like Philadelphia where you could find the best of everything, you just grew up playing everything.
Right.
You know, as a hired professional musician, you never had time to think about genre.
Right.
You know, you're hired to play a gig, you play what the gig calls for, you know. So in doing that, you learn more about that particular genre. and you carry it with you. So when I finally moved to New York City to, ostensibly was to go to college. I did go to college, but I knew in my heart I really wanted to be there because all of my jazz heroes lived in New York, and I wanted to be in close proximity to them. I just wanted to play whatever I could get called for. My reasons for playing a lot of different genres were pretty practical. I wanted to work.
Right. And that's a good motivator.
Yeah.
Like, I need that. It's a
Hey,
gig.
I need my rent paid.
Right. Yeah.
So if I got to go play a mariachi gig, then so be it.
Well, I think it's because of that, the breadth of your recordings and who you've collaborated with is quite. It's just stunning. I'm always very impressed with. I always want to be like, well, who's Christian going to work with next? Because it's always exciting as a fan and as a listener. You also have another Colorado appearance happening later this summer, June 20th and 21st, Jazz Aspen Snowmass, of course, with the incredible Lisa Fisher, where you will present a tribute to Aretha Franklin with your Jazz Academy Big Band. You are the artistic director for that academy. For people who may not know, talk to our listeners about that particular program and how it works and how they all kind of come to Aspen in the summertime, and how that impacts jazz and arts education.
Sure. Well, jazz education is something that I've been very committed to for quite some time now. I would say at least 25 years. I started in Jazz Aspen just as a visiting clinician. I came first in like 1996, 97, somewhere in there. And then they asked if I would become the artistic director of the summer program, which at that time was in collaboration with the then known Monk Institute. It's now called the Hancock Institute, but at that time it was the Thelonious Monk Institute. And they put together a 2-week summer intensive workshop, and young musicians from all around the country. It was a small program. It was only 25 students. And they would come and they have small combos, and they also had a big band. And that's right around the time I started to sort of build my big band repertoire. And I like to say that Jazz Aspen summer program, we now do it in conjunction with the Frost School, which is at the University of Miami. So they do a lot of, they do a lot of recruiting for us. But I like to say that Jazz Aspen summer program, it's like a AAA team for the Yankees. Almost every musician you can think of that has made a splash in the jazz community since this century, most of them have pretty much come through Jazz Aspen. That's how I met Warren Wolf, the vibraphonist who's been playing in my group Inside Straight since 2007. That's where I met the great drummer Ulysses Owens Jr. Gretchen Parlato was a student there. The Strickland brothers, Marcus and EJ, were students there. Mike Rodriguez was a student there. It's just been pretty incredible, the crop of musicians that come through there. And I'm now this will be my 24th year.
With all the albums, the collaborations, the artistic directors, working with students, all of this stuff, you've also got Jazz Night in America, which we air here on Sunday nights.
John Batiste was also in the program.
When do you sleep is what I want to know.
Oh, I sleep when I can get it. Yeah, hey, look, anybody who works in jazz is hustling.
Yeah.
So we're all working hard to get something done for the betterment of the community. So don't ever worry about me and sleep. I get it.
Well, we're so thrilled that you're here again. You're tuned in to KUVO Jazz here with our special guest, Christian McBride.